Hello, this is Shadowing, and welcome to another Shadowing rant. Today we're going to take on the topic of creationism. Creationism is the belief that the Bible speaks of the creation of everything, basically, and that the Bible tells you that God created everything, and there is no evolution. Everything was created as it was, and it is as it was before. And I have seen creationism destroyed scientifically. But in this video, I'm not going to destroy it scientifically because that's entirely too easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy creationism with creationism. And I'm going to point out the flaws in creationism using creationism. So the whole thing is the biggest point of creationism is that creationists believe that the earth and everything was created 6,000 years ago, give or take a few years or so, because I'm posting this later than the 6,000 years would have been. It's about 5, 6 years. No big deal. And that Adam and Eve are the forefather and foremother of every living thing. But according to creationism, everything is as it was before. Everything now is as it was before. I have one issue with that. 6,000 years ago, we didn't have nuclear power plants. 6,000 years ago, we didn't have motor vehicles. 6,000 years ago, we didn't have advanced medication. 6,000 years ago, we did not have airplanes that travel through the skies at near speeds of sound. So there's the first flaw right there. When you get a creationist that says everything was created as it is now, well, no. But we're going to keep going. And we're going to keep going on the aspect of creationism then, Apparently, according to creationism, there was either one of three things. Okay, this theory actually is three theories because nobody can agree with it, even the supposed experts on creationism. One of three theories, and I will be addressing all three of them. The first theory is that there was a shield of ice around the planet. And when the Masonic flood came, the shield of ice caused the flood. Okay, let's say it happened. Let's say that this shield of ice melted, and all of a sudden, all of this water caused the flood. I mean, a shield of ice a few meters thick around the entire planet would cover the tallest mountain in over 1,000 feet of water. I have one issue with that. Just one. Where did all the water go? Where did it go? It's visibly not here because we exist. And according to the Masonic flood, all but basically 8 people were killed. And in the Bible, creationists will have you believe that God said unto Moses, "Bring all animals that breathe through their nostrils." Well, what about insects? They don't breathe through their nostrils, yet we have insects. Spiders, bees, flies, ants, roaches, you know, fleas, termites. We have insects. Insects are prevalent. They are the dominant species upon the world. Insects as a whole outnumber humanity almost 1,000 to 1, or probably over 1,000 to 1. So that's flawed too. Now, the second theory is basically the same thing, but instead of being ice, it was water. Again, it falls under the same category. Where is it? And the third theory is that there was these vast underground seas, and that when the Masonic flood happened, he split the earth upon the mid-Atlantic ridge, and all this water come gushing out. Well, I can see issues with that because if there was these vast underwater or underland seas, well, when all this Russia water comes rushing out, well, wouldn't the planet get smaller and cause massive earthquakes and massive devastation on a planet-wide scale? So there's strike three. I mean, we can continue. After the Masonic flood, what happened? Well, the world was completely and utterly devoid of life. Completely and utterly devoid of life. I mean, yeah, you had the Ark, but, you know, yeah, that's not nearly enough food or material to repopulate the Earth, one, and grow enough food to sustain the repopulated Earth, two. Now, the most absolute ridiculous creationist theory that I have ever heard is how they migrated the animals, the fluffy koalas and the kangaroos that hop in Australia and all the other. They say that a volcano blew up and launched the animal to Australia. Hmm. Go stand in a volcano and wait for it to blow up and see how far you get. I mean, seriously. I mean, that is just asinine. First of all, the tremendous forces that would be needed would probably rip you to shreds before you even got off the ground. Not to mention, volcanoes have something in them called, lava, magma. Basically, for, you know, creationists, I'm going to put it in terms you can understand: hot ass rock that destroys skin and flesh and fur. All right, you got that? It's rock that's literally melted and is really, really, really hot. And yeah, I'm bad mouthing it because all I've been seeing as of late is creation this, creation that, creation that. It's bullshit. And the reasons why it's bullshit is because they can't back it up. Oh, numbers, 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 numbers. Okay. Numbers, 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 numbers. I can get math to say anything I want. I can do a calculation and say that, oh, because of this calculation, and I did all the mathematical functions absolutely correctly, you can fact check my math. Now, don't fact check anything else, but you can fact check my math. And according to this math, I can justifiably and unequivocally say that God is a muffin in space that basically planted sea monkeys on the earth and said some magical words and sprinkled some moon dust on the planet and created humanity. And this is the shit they want to teach in our schools. This is the bullshit. This is the crap that they want our children to know. Well, and you know, you're going to say, well, shadowing, shouldn't we know all sides of the story? Go look at any creationist video. And if you have half a brain, you will be able to point out the bullshit in it just as easily as I can. Now, I'm not trying to do this scientifically. Okay? I mean, that's just entirely too easy to do it scientifically. And I've already busted it basically using their own theory against them. It's just not possible. And to state that the Earth is only 6,000 years old. 6,000 years old. Really? I mean, come on now. That's ignoring every scientific theory, fact, computation, proven theory that has come out. I mean, yeah, I mean, come on now. I've even, I've even, I mean, creationism is a farce. It's a farce. It's just they want to propagate their own religion. This goes back to being, Christianity. Christianity, the following of the Catholic Bible or the Abrahamic Bible is the foundation and genesis of creationism. It's not enough that they have their religion and want to push it on everybody. Now they're saying, well, basically science does not matter. My magical voodoo space fish that knows kung fu and will throw a magical shuriken at you that will create you instantly into what you are now is what created everything. And no. Personally, myself, I mean, if according to creationism, everything was created and is created that was and was created that is, well, why did it take us more than 5,000 years to figure out, oh, if we do this, this, and this, we can make a car? Or if we do this, this, and this, we can have almost nearly unlimited power at the cost of burning some fissionable materials. Or if we do this, this, and this, and have big enough engines, we can go to the moon. Or take 200 people at a time across the seas. Or create weapons that can destroy an entire continent. Or create a gun that can shoot 7,000 bullets a minute. Or create a tank that's almost impervious to anything up to and including another tank. Why did it take so long for that to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Reason is because science. Creationism has zero bearing on science. According to creationism, science does not exist. They do not acknowledge science. I mean, personally, me, I would like to take all the creationists, shoot them to the moon, and tell them, be creationists here, and see how far that gets you. They'll be dead in 2 minutes. I mean, yes, granted it's freedom of speech, and they're allowed to have their theories and their pseudoscience, which is even a word that shouldn't even be really associated with creationism because it's not a science. But come on now, give it a break. And yeah, I smoke. I smoke about a pack and a half cigarettes a day. And where did these cigarettes come from? They're going to say, oh, tobacco's been grown for thousands of years. Sure. But for most of that time, it was never rolled in paper. And it damn sure didn't have a fiberglass filter. It was smoked out of a clay pipe. Was it healthier for you back then? Don't know. I didn't live back then. Couldn't tell you. But see, the thing is, back then, 6,000 years ago, I would have been dead. I would not have been existing. I would not be alive right now because, a year ago, a year and some number of days. What day is it today? What day is it today? Let me check. It is the 15th. So a year and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 year and 10 days ago, I was just getting out of the hospital after a month stay in the hospital. I went into the hospital dead. I walked out of the hospital very much alive. And do you know why? It's because modern medicine. They have the techniques and the ability to treat my condition even though they didn't know what the hell I had. There was no God. There was no creationist. There was no, oh, we'll pray for him so it'll get better. Yeah, pray for me, but give me drugs too. I mean, we can see just through the history of prayer how well that works. I mean, just in my lifetime, quite a few people I know don't live no more because of their religion. They couldn't get vaccines. Well, guess what? Something caught up with them that they weren't vaccinated for. Their body had no resistance to it, and 3 weeks later they were dead. I was attending a funeral. Very sad indeed. And they don't know why. Oh, well, we prayed. Their preacher actually had the gall to say to them, well, you didn't pray hard enough. I stood up in the church and was asked to leave promptly after I said this. I said, no, dumbass. It's because you didn't let him vaccinate the fucking kid. That's why. That's why he's dead now. To coin a phrase, and I hope I don't get in trouble with this, to coin a phrase from Thunderfoot, science, bitches, it works. And I'm only doing this because it's absolutely fucking true. I love science. I love everything about science. It's a fun and interesting topic. Creationism is not science, it's an insult to science. But let's go back to creationism. Let's go back to creationism and let's say to people, what is creationism? Creationism is the art by which God created everything, and it has been, and it always will be exactly the same. Well, look at that. Look at that. Science doesn't understand. Stay the same. Science doesn't understand. Always will be. Science is ever changing. Creationism is not. They've been having the same arguments for 150 years. Science. And here's the thing, creationism has been disproved in just about every arena. Yet they still harp on it. It's been disproven legally, it's been disproven scientifically, and I have sat here and just disproved it with its own theory. Its own theory cannot corroborate itself. Yet every scientific theory with enough footwork and enough research can corroborate itself. But again, I mean, I'll be accused of, oh, you're twisting the words of creationism. How am I twisting the words any more than you are? Again, you half quote, you quote things that support your facts, but only as a half quote. Or you make numbers that basically, by and large, has absolutely no bearing on anything. But yeah, I'm half quoting and I'm misinterpreting creationism. So if any of you creationists want to make a counter movie to this and tell me how I'm wrong and prove it, prove it. The burden of proof is on you. Please do. because I would love to see that. And guess what? As soon as you do, I'll respond to the video and I'll destroy it again. I have no problem doing that. So that is all with creationism. That is all I'm going to say on that topic for right now. This has been Shadowing for another one of Shadowing's rants, and I bid you adieu.